meeting with his counterparts as well as the senior UN officials. These included the Secretary General of the United Nations, the Foreign Minister of Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Cambodia, China, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, the Czech Republic, Indonesia, Panama, and the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs of the Portugal. We have been issuing regular press releases and media readouts of these meetings, which you covered in your reports. On 29th May, the Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister Senator Mohammad Asaghdar met with the US Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Marco Rubio in Washington, D.C. The two leaders appreciated the positive trajectory of Pak-US bilateral relations over the past year. They discussed wide-ranging issues of mutual interest and agreed to upscale and strengthen economic and trade relations, cultural cooperation, as well as partnerships in counterterrorism and security domain. While exchanging views on the evolving regional and global situation, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister expressed his deep admiration for President Trump on his return to Islamabad. The Deputy Prime Minister, Foreign Minister received a telephone call from the Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdullateh, and on the same day he spoke with the Foreign Minister of Iran, Sayyid Abbas Araghchi. The next day he spoke with Kuwait's Foreign Minister, Sheikh Jarrah Jaber Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah, and issues pertaining to evolving regional and international developments, and the standoff in the Middle East and the Gulf was discussed. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also point out that in the similar vein, as part of our efforts for peace and stability, the Prime Minister received a telephone call from the Iranian President, Dr. Masoud Pezeshkian. This was on the 4th of January, on the 4th of June. And earlier on the 27th May, the Prime Minister held a telephone call with the Crown Prince of Kuwait, Sheikh Khalid Al-Sabah. And earlier he had spoken with the Prime Minister of Malaysia, His Excellency Dr. Anwar Ibrahim. So this was part of our efforts for regional peace, security, overall regional development, and there was certainly some bilateral content into these telephone conversations that were held by the Prime Minister. Another important development, ladies and gentlemen, this week was the visit of the European Union's High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy and the Vice President of the European Commission, Ms. Kaya Kallas, to Pakistan on the 1st of June. During the visit, the DPM Foreign Minister and the European High Representative co-chaired the 8th session of the Pak-EU Strategic Dialogue. The dialogue is the highest level platform for structured discussions between the two sides. During the visit, the EU High Representative also called on the senior leadership, including the President, the Prime Minister, and the Chief of Army Staff and the Chief of Defence Forces. The visit underscored the sustained momentum of high-level political exchange between Pakistan and the EU and reflected a shared commitment to further strengthen Pakistan-EU partnership. A Pakistan-EU joint statement was also issued, which you covered extensively. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, this week you must have seen that the 8 foreign ministers from the group of 8 countries, that is Pakistan, Egypt, Turkey, Indonesia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Jordan, issued a joint statement that strongly condemned the continued incursion by extremist Israeli settlers into Al-Aqsa Mosque, Al-Haram al-Sharif and other measures by Israeli forces aimed at undermining the sanctity and status of the Islamic and Christian holy sites in the occupied Palestine. The group of foreign ministers further denounced Israel's ongoing measures aimed at altering the historical, legal and demographic character of occupied East Jerusalem. They reaffirmed their rejection of any attempt to change the status quo while recognizing the special role of the Hashemite custodianship and Jordan's authority over administration of Al-Aqsa Mosque, Al-Haram al-Sharif. The ministers called on Israel to immediately cease all illegal and provocative actions, warning that continued violations risk escalating tensions, instability, and extremism. They also reaffirmed their steadfast support for the Palestinian people, including their right to self-determination and the establishment of an independent sovereign state of Palestine with Jerusalem as its capital, in accordance with international law and the two-state solution. So this, ladies and gentlemen, concludes my opening statement, and I'll open the role of the Hashemite custodianship and Jordan's authority over administration of Al-Aqsa Mosque, Al-Haram al-Sharif. The ministers called on Israel to immediately cease all illegal and provocative actions, warning that continued violations risk escalating tensions, instability, and extremism. They also all illegal and provocative actions, warning that continued violations risk escalating tensions, instability, and extremism. They also reaffirmed their steadfast support for the Palestinian people, including their right to self-determination and the establishment of an independent sovereign state of Palestine with Jerusalem as its capital, in accordance with international law and the two-state solution. So this, ladies and gentlemen, concludes my opening statement, and I'll open the floor for question answers. जी पराशा साहब.
Thank you so much, Excellency. I have a couple of questions, but I will restrict to only one at the moment. You might have read India offering a bid for transfer of water from Chenab to Bias. Pakistan forfeited its rights on the eastern waters in lieu of its rights on western waters like Chenab. But how do you view such a development where they intend to transform Pakistan into a barren-like situation if the waters are not there? Secondly, we heard with a bang that stopping water will be tantamount to declaration of war against Pakistan. So when practically it's happening, what are the options for Pakistan? Thank you, sir.
Yes, we have seen this report as well as the public tender document issued by the Government of India that India has invited bids for Chenab Chenab Beas Link Tunnel project with the intention of transferring 1.9 million acre feet of water annually from Chenab River into the Beas system, and this acreage is an estimate right now. Such an interbasin diversion of water of the Chenab into Beas river system constitute a grave violation of not just of the Indus Water Treaty, but also of the laws of treaty, particularly the Vienna Convention on the Laws of Treaty, as well as broader framework of international water law, including the principles reflected in the 1997 UN Convention on Water Courses. The second project, in addition to this, which also I would like to mention here, is the proposed silt flushing of the Salal Dam reservoir in Riasi districts of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. This is a deeply concerning development. It would provide water control capability that is not permissible under either the international Indus Water Treaty or the 1978 Salal Agreement. India has neither officially communicated or nor shared any notice of these projects, nor it has sought consultations in this regard. These projects confirm that India seeks to weaponize water. This carries dangerous implications not only for Pakistan's economy but also for regional stability and international peace and security. Pakistan has exercised restraint and responsibility, and we remain committed to dialogue and peaceful resolution of disputes. However, any illegal action, any illegal measure to endanger Pakistan's water, food and economic security, as well as the survival and well-being of its 250 million people is unacceptable. Such action amount to further destabilization of South Asia with potential grave consequences for the people of the entire region. Under the Indus Water Treaty, Pakistan is entitled to receive for unrestricted use the water of the western rivers, and these were in lieu of the eastern rivers, the rights of the eastern rivers that were given to India. Pakistan retained all options necessary for safeguard right and entitlements under the treaty and to protect its vital national interest. And let me emphasize, we retain all options in this regard. The international community must call upon India to desist from any form of water coercion, abandon projects that seek to stop or reduce or divert water flow legally belonging to Pakistan, and restore full and faithful implementation of the Indus Water Treaty.
Thank you so much, spokesperson. The Swiss ambassador to India, she recently visited the occupied territory of Indian occupied territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and she said that the quote, "We also explored opportunities for future collaboration in vocational training, hospitality, food processing, and tourism." My question is, with Jammu and Kashmir being an internationally recognized dispute, has this matter been taken up with the Swiss side for their ambassador to visit a disputed territory, and not just, let alone, trying to invest there in a disputed territory, which she is posing, by her impressions, is they're recognizing it as India's sovereign territory? Thank you.
Jammu and Kashmir is an internationally recognized international dispute. The visit of any international personality does not alter the status of the Jammu and Kashmir as an internationally recognized dispute whose resolution is to be achieved through independent, impartial plebiscite. And in this regard, Pakistan remains in touch with the international community, with the respective governments, to discuss this issue, to brief them on the situation of grave human rights violations that are taking place in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and particularly its larger security dimensions with respect to peace and stability of our region and beyond. And in the same vein, we remain engaged with the Swiss governments in this regard. At the end.
तर्जुमान दफ्तर ख़ारजा ताहिर हुसैन अंद्राबी की जानिब से हफ्तावार न्यूज़ ब्रीफिंग दी जा रही है। उन्होंने कहा कि ख़ित्ते में कशीदगी बढ़ने के ख़दशात पर तशवीश का इजहार किया गया है। तर्जुमान दफ्तर ख़ारजा ने कहा कि गुज़िश्ता 2 हफ़्ते में सिफारती सतह पर बहुत मसरूफ़ियात रही हैं। वज़ीर आज़म ने चीन का कामयाब दौरा किया। मज़ीद ख़बरों और अपडेट्स के लिए आप रहिए डॉन न्यूज़ के साथ।
वाटर बॉम्ब फेस्टिवल साउथ कोरिया जाना है? स्प्राइट उठाओ, QR स्कैन करो, कोड व्हाट्सएप करो और पाओ जीतने का मौका साउथ कोरिया ट्रिप का या फिर ढेरों इनामात। तो फिर स्प्राइट के साथ वाटर बॉम्ब साउथ कोरिया जाके ठंड मचा।